You know, you hear about legal battles all the time, right? Business stuff, contracts, whatever. But recently, something popped up that honestly made me do a double take.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
We're talking Delhi High Court drama, and the core of it, rose syrup.
Rose syrup. Seriously. Like
Yeah.
Sharbat.
Yes, exactly. This whole clash between Baba Ramdev and Hamdard, the Rooh Afza people,
Uh-huh.
over this thing being called the Sharbat Jihad controversy.
Wow. Okay. That's unexpected.
It's a wild ride, and that's what we're digging into today. We're going to try and unpack this, figure out what's really going on.
Yeah, it's fascinating how something so, well, everyday to drink a lot of people grew up with suddenly becomes this major legal flashpoint.
Mm.
So our plan is to basically break down this weird situation, understand the real conflict here,
Yeah.
and maybe see what it tells us beyond just, two companies fighting.
Exactly. And we're drawing on like news reports, court documents, mainly stuff from April and May this year, 2025.
Right, so let's set the scene a bit.
Right.
Rooh Afza. It's not just any syrup, is it?
No way. This stuff goes way back. Hamdard started making it in, what, 1907?
That's right, 1907.
Mm.
And Hamdard itself is rooted in Unani medicine, which is a traditional system.
Right, traditional healing. So Rooh Afza has been around forever in India. That bright red color, the smell, it's pure nostalgia for millions. Summers, Ramadan, iftar.
Absolutely. It's got huge cultural weight. Think about all the family gatherings, the festivals.
Yeah.
It's just there. It's like part of the furniture, culturally speaking.
Definitely more than just a drink. It's memory lane in a bottle for a lot of folks.
Spot on.
Okay. Then you've got Baba Ramdev, yoga guru turned business mogul, right? Patanjali is massive now. They sell everything.
Everything, noodles, soap, you name it, all under that Swadeshi kind of homegrown, made in India banner.
And their latest thing, a gulab sharbat, rose syrup, clearly stepping onto Rooh Afza's turf.
Which, competition happens. That's normal.
But this is where it gets weird and controversial.
This is a sharp turn, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently in some promotional stuff for their new Sharbat, Ramdev made this pretty inflammatory statement.
Inflammatory is putting it mildly. What did he allegedly say?
Well, the allegation is he claimed profits from Rooh Afza were going to fund madrasas and mosques. And he apparently called this Sharbat Jihad.
Wow. Sharbat Jihad. That's a loaded term to throw around, especially in India.
Extremely loaded. You can imagine the reaction. It wasn't quiet.
I bet. And Hamdard, they weren't just going to let that slide, presumably.
Not at all. They went straight to the Delhi High Court,
Right.
filed a petition citing, defamation, trying to stir up communal trouble. The works.
Okay, so the battle lines were drawn. Courtroom, here we come.
And that brings us to April 22nd, 2025. The court hears Hamdard's side.
And what was the vibe? Did the court take it seriously?
Oh, very seriously. The judgment, or rather the initial order, was incredibly strong. They called Ramdev's comment indefensible.
Indefensible, okay.
And get this, shocking to the conscience of the court.
Shocking to the conscience. That's powerful language from a judge.
It really is. It shows just how seriously they viewed it.
So,
The court ordered him, point blank, to stop making those statements and pull those videos immediately.
right. You'd think, okay, court order, message received, end of story.
You would think. But apparently not.
What happened next?
Well, not long after that order, another video supposedly pops up. And guess what?
Let me guess. Ramdev repeating the same kind of stuff.
Allegedly, yes. Reiterating the claims the court had just told him to stop making.
Oh boy. The court must have loved that.
Yeah, safe to say they weren't impressed. The same judge looked at this new evidence and found Ramdev in prima facie contempt.
Prima facie contempt, meaning, like on the face of it, it looks like he ignored the order.
Exactly. Based on what they saw initially, it looked like clear disobedience. So, boom, contempt notice issued. He had to show up and explain himself.
And did the judge say anything else?
There were some reported remarks that were quite telling. Something like, the judge felt Ramdev seemed not in control of anyone and was living in his own world.
Wow. That suggests a certain detachment from the consequences, maybe?
Or perhaps a feeling of being above the rules. Who knows? But it definitely signals the court's frustration.
And where does that stand now, this contempt thing?
Well, as of the start of May 1st, 2025, the hearing was actually put off because Ramdev's lawyer couldn't make it.
So it's still hanging fire. This isn't over yet.
Not by a long shot.
Okay, let's circle back to that phrase, Sharbat Jihad. It sounds almost comical, but it's clearly not a joke, is it? The weight it carries.
Absolutely not a joke. The term jihad is, well, it's complex. It can mean an internal struggle, sure, but in common usage, especially in charged environments, it gets heavily linked to holy war, violence.
Right. It's instantly divisive.
Precisely. So to just casually slap it onto a comment about, a soft drink and specifically link it to funding religious institutions, it's profoundly irresponsible.
Especially in India, given the history and the sensitivities around communal relations.
Exactly. Language like that can genuinely sow discord, create suspicion between communities. It's not just bad taste, it's potentially dangerous.
Yeah.
It tries to build this us versus them narrative around, of all things, rose syrup.
And it also completely ignores what Hamdard actually does, doesn't it? They have that foundation.
Right. The Hamdard National Foundation in India, they've been doing philanthropic work for decades. Education, healthcare, stuff that helps loads of different people, not just one group.
So the claims just don't match their actual record.
Not even close. It's a direct contradiction to their long-standing reputation and actions.
Which makes you wonder about the motive again. Is it just about stirring things up, or is there a business angle too?
Well, you have to consider the commercial context, right?
Right.
Ramdev is launching a competing product. If you can tarnish the reputation of the market leader, Rooh Afza, with these kinds of claims.
It might push people towards your product, Patanjali's Sharbat.
Potentially, yes. It looks like a tactic, maybe, to use controversial rhetoric to gain a market advantage by disparaging a competitor. The court seemed to pick up on that damaging aspect right away.
Which brings us back to the contempt of court idea. Can you just break that down simply? Why is it such a big deal?
Sure. Think of it like this. The courts make decisions, issue orders, based on law and evidence. For the whole system to work, those orders need to be respected.
Okay. Authority.
Exactly. Contempt of court is basically the mechanism to uphold that authority. If someone deliberately disobeys a court order, like Ramdev is accused of doing here, it undermines the whole judicial process.
So it's about protecting the integrity of the courts themselves.
Precisely. And that's why it can lead to penalties, fines, even imprisonment in some cases, though that's usually more extreme.
Got it. This whole thing, it really throws a spotlight on public figures, doesn't it? People with huge platforms like Baba Ramdev.
It really does. It raises massive questions about responsibility. Freedom of speech is vital, of course, but where's the line? When does speech become harmful, divisive, or defamatory, especially when targeted at communities or businesses?
Yeah, and the court stepping in so strongly here, twice now, it sends a message.
It sends a very clear message that there are boundaries and that using inflammatory language, especially after being warned, has consequences. The court is essentially policing that boundary.
So as this whole thing plays out, it's kind of changed how you might look at those bottles on the shelf, hasn't it?
You mean Rooh Afza and the Patanjali one?
Yeah. Suddenly it's not just about which one tastes better or which one you grew up with. There's this whole other layer now.
Definitely. It connects to like public discourse, business ethics, how religion gets pulled into things, the power of the courts.
Yeah.
It's all wrapped up in that simple choice of syrup.
It's just such a bizarre flashpoint. Rose syrup and jihad. Who'd have thought?
It's a potent reminder, isn't it? How quickly everyday things can get caught up in much bigger, much more complex narratives. You just never know what's bubbling under the surface.
It leaves you thinking about, well, the power words have and the responsibility that comes with having a voice that millions listen to.
Indeed. And maybe, just maybe, prompts you to think a little deeper about the stories behind the brands we consume every day.
A truly fascinating and, yeah, pretty unsettling deep dive today.
It certainly was.
All right, until our next exploration then, keep questioning and stay curious.